I am Dr. Anil Joshi, Professor of Radiology, and we are in the series of Learn Radiology from Professor. Today's topic is congenital heart diseases, a plain X-ray approaches. By and large, congenital heart disease and chest X-ray are always considered as one of the most challenging facts for radiologists also and for radiographer also. That is because of the technical factors. Now, to understand what are the X-ray appearances, it is essential that we should know how a fetal circulation takes place. Let us start from the umbilical arteries. There are two umbilical arteries which carries impure blood from the fetus up to the placenta. Placenta does a job of purification. That is, it removes the toxicants, it removes the deoxygenation, that is the toxins of the blood. It puts into the oxygen into the blood and also puts the nutrients in it, and that purified blood goes through the umbilical arteries, through the umbilical vein into the fetal circulation via inferior vena cava. In inferior vena cava, it enters through the ductus venosus. Now it is important to understand this diagram of the fetal heart. Now this is the right ventricle, this is the right atrium, this is the left ventricle, this is the left atrium. Now the blood is coming first into the right atrium through the IVC. We have seen how a placenta plays its role to purify it. From right atrium, part of the blood goes into the right ventricle, that is here, and partly the blood goes into the left atrium through the foramina. So the blood in the right atrium has got two different ways. One thing is go into the right ventricle, and second is to go into the left atrium. Now what happens once it goes to the right ventricle? From right ventricle, it is pumped into the pulmonary artery. From the pulmonary artery, it goes to the pulmonary circulation. Now in pulmonary circulation, there is no expansion of the lung. Lung is in collapse stage. So because of the high resistance in the pulmonary vasculature, the blood from pulmonary artery goes through the ductus venosus into the aorta. So this is the first channel. Second, whatever is blood in the right atrium can goes into the right ventricle and the left atrium, and from there into the left ventricle, and from left ventricle it can go into the aorta and then into the fetal circulation. So here we have mentioned it. The oxygenated blood is carried to the placenta, then placenta enriches it. After enriching, it goes to the fetal circulation, and from there, from the right atrium, right ventricle, pulmonary circulation, it can come into the aorta, or from right atrium it goes to the left atrium, then it goes to the left ventricle, and from the aorta it can go into the fetal circulation. Now this is again, this diagram also is showing same things. Here it is in diagrammatic form. You are seeing the arteries, the veins and fetal circulation. Now what happens once the child takes a breath? Once the child takes a breath, the pulmonary circulation, which is of high resistance, goes into the low resistance. That is because of the expansion of the lung, because of aeration of the lung, the pulmonary arterial pressure in the alveoli or in the lungs is less than that of the aortic blood flow. That is why the blood goes more through the pulmonary circulation, and it comes from the pulmonary arteries again to the lungs, then it comes into the right from left atrium. From left atrium it comes to the left ventricle, and left ventricle goes into the general circulation. Now this slide again mention it. Due to reduction in pulmonary arterial pressure, the following things occur. The shunt between both atrium and ductus venosus closes after 1 hour of the birth. That is because of the pressure gradients what we have described just now. Only way to go from right side to left side has to be through the pulmonary circulation. Now this is what happens routinely. Here it is mentioned same thing, from inferior vena cava, from superior vena cava, blood comes in right atrium, then into the right ventricle, then into the pulmonary artery, then from pulmonary artery, this is normal circulation. So via the pulmonary veins from the lungs, again it comes to the left atrium, left ventricle, and then through the aorta it goes into the body. Now this is the circulation of fetus after 1 hour. Now what can happen? That is the basic of the pathologies. In these all anatomical route, there can be abnormal shunts. These shunts are required for fetal circulation. Now if they remain patent after 1 hour or in then the life after the birth, then it is abnormal. Now abnormal shunt can be intracardiac, that is communication between right and left side, ASD and VSD are these two communications. Then it can be from the great vessels, that is from the pulmonary artery into the aorta, that is patent ductus arteriosus. Now abnormality can cause obstruction to the flow. The obstruction to the flow can occur only by the stenosis. Now here we have to suspect tricuspid atresia, pulmonary, mitral, aortic stenosis, circulation of the aorta, that is coarctation of the aorta. These are the things that can be the abnormalities of the other part. Now there can be structural abnormalities. What can be structural abnormalities? That is the right and left chambers of the heart can combine, that is the single atrium. Then it can be a communication of two great vessels, that is truncus arteriosus. Then there can be connection between the atrium and the ventricles. Now there can be abnormal situs. Situs are the positions of the heart. It can be situs solitus, situs transversus or situs umbilicus. Now these here are the types of situses. Now what is the role of conventional radiology, that is the chest X-ray, in all these diseases? Now it can pick pulmonary vasculature. Now pulmonary vasculature can be either plethora, it can be oligemia, or it can be congested. The second can be the size of the heart. The size of the heart can enlarges due to diastolic overload, as it is seen into left to right shunt. It can occur in valvular regurgitations, or it can occur because of the pump failures. Now these are the types where there is a direct cardiac overload. Now third are the shape of the heart. Now shape of the heart can be like egg shape, that is usually seen in truncus, transposition of great vessels. Then it can be sitting duct that occurs in persistent TA. Then it can be boot shaped as it occurs in the phallot, or it can be figure of 8, that is a snowman, that is a figure of 8, that is a snowman, or a cottage leaf of bread. Now heart of the supracardiac, there can be a total anomalous pulmonary venous drainage, especially the supracardiac type. Then there can be a position abnormality which can be picked in X-ray. That there can be a skeletal changes which we have to look in addition to the cardiac changes. Now what a plain X-ray is done? Why the plain X-ray is preferred? One thing is preferred in initial assessment because it is available everywhere, it is simple, it is very easy to take, slightly difficult technically for X-rays technician to take the X-rays and to radiologists for the reporting. Fluoroscopy and barium swallows are not done nowadays. Once there is some suspicion of the abnormalities on chest X-ray, directly patient goes for the echo. Now let us see what are the things. Now here we are seeing is the left cardiac border. This is a right cardiac border. Right cardiac border, there are usually veins. These are usually superior vena cava, and that is on the left side there are usually the arteries. Now here is the aortic arch, then azygous vein. If at all it is seen in this side, there is a main pulmonary artery here, then is a left atrial appendages and left ventricle. Now here we are seeing is the right atrium, then some part of superior vena cava, that is the right and left side of the heart, as well as we are seeing the apex of the heart should be seen properly. In lateral, the main is the space between the sternum and the heart salute, as well as posterior space. These two spaces are important from interpretation point of view. Now, what is the cardiac thoracic ratio? Cardiac thoracic ratio is a gross assessment of the size of the heart, size of the thoracic cage, and how much heart occupies in that thoracic cage. Now, in adult, it should be around 50%, and the 50% of the thorax is occupied by the heart, and in neonate it should be slightly more. That is because of right ventricular slightly dominance in the infants. Now, what is the limitation? It's a technical matter. The X-ray has to be correct. X-ray has to be proper PA. It has to be proper deep inspiration, and there should not be any vascular blur or technical blur, or there should not be rotations, so that the accurate estimation can be done. Now, second is after assessing the heart, we go to the pulmonary plethora. Plethora is the increase, that is the congestive changes, and oligemia is the decrease. So we have to see how to read this pulmonary plethora. In these conditions, there will be a dilated arteries, that is the pulmonary arterial hypertension. Now the arterial size will be more. That is usually calculated by comparing it with the neighboring bronchus. Then second are the how much arteries are seen, that is a peripheral pruning. Now, in which condition we get plethora or congestion? We get when there is increased blood flow in pulmonary circulation, like ASD, VSD, PDA, or total anomalous pulmonary venous congestion. Now, in this patient we are seeing pulmonary hypertension. If you see carefully, you will see the aorta is hypoplastic. Look at this pulmonary artery, it is bulging. Bulging of this pulmonary artery is important sign here. Then we are seeing slight right ventricular dominance, and we are seeing, if you see here, there are some congestive perihilar changes. What happens in pulmonary venous hypertension? In stage 1 pulmonary hypertension, there is redistribution. Pulmonary veins, when enter into the lungs, they have got a lot of interstitial space. There is usually lymphatics and other things, fluids in this compartment, which acts as a reservoir. Now, initially when there is increase in pulmonary venous pressure, the blood escapes into this space, that is called redistribution. Now, once this occurs, then there is second stage, that when there is more increase, then there is interstitial edema, that is interstitial fluid content will be more than what it can accommodate as a reservoir. So that is interstitial edema. Now, third is alveolar edema. Once it is more than it accommodates, then it starts oozing out. It oozes into the alveolar. So that is the alveolar edema. Hemosiderosis is when the blood breaks down and it remains as a residence. In this first stage, now this is the first stage, what we have described is cephalization or Viking helmet sign or a antler horn sign. Antler horn sign is like this. Because of the apical pulmonary veins congestion, it is described as antler horn sign. This typically occurs in mitral stenosis in initial stages. Now, second stage is pulmonary edema, because the fluid is oozing out continuously after the accommodation capacity increases or exceeds. It starts oozing into the interstitium, from interstitium into alveolus. Now, in this stage, we might get in chest X-ray Curley's A line, B line, and C lines. Now, this is the X-ray which shows at periphery or at basis there is congestive changes with alveolar edema. Now, we come to a particular diseases and their appearances. Now, mitral stenosis. Basic pathology, what happens in mitral stenosis is the pressure in left atrium increases. Left atrium occupies the posterior aspect of the heart. So the only way to identify a left atrial enlargement is to find a double density in initial stage, or the distance between the carina and the left atrium is more than 7 centimeters. These are the two signs in which you can know that there is left atrial enlargement. Now, splaying of carina, what we discussed just now, because it compresses over it. Then superior displacement of left main bronchus, that is opening of the carina. Then the convexity of the left atrial appendages segment at left cardiac border are sometimes seen. Now, ASD and pulmonary arterial hypertension. What happens in ASD? ASD, because there is a shunt, the blood in the pulmonary circulation is more congested. The reason is because of the septum, the right side, right atrium, try to push it into the left atrium, but after the birth, the pressure into the left atrium is fairly high as compared to the intrauterine. So to push the blood, it has to push either into the atrial side, that is from the right atrium, it has to go to left ventricle. Instead of that, it leakages to the left atrium, and left atrium, because there is more pressure, the more blood will remain in right atrium, so it has to push more blood to the right ventricle, and ultimately it overloads the pulmonary artery. So here what we find is mainly pulmonary hypertension sets in because of all this mechanism. We are seeing this is the pulmonary artery. This pulmonary artery enlargement with plethora leads to some intracardiac shunt. Now there are two things in this which I want to tell you. In cyanotic heart disease, the lung can be oligemic or they can be plethoric. Now once we come to the two differentiation, a cyanotic and acyanotic heart disease. In cyanotic heart disease, because of if there are oligemic lung fields, we think of Fallot tetralogy, then hypoplastic right heart syndrome and Epstein. And in case if in cyanotic heart disease there is a plethora, we suspect TA, total anomalous pulmonary venous drainage, or truncus arteriosus. So these are the classification first of the cyanotic heart disease. And the second are the non-cyanotic. Non-cyanotic we get mainly plethoric, what we had seen just now. In plethora we get ASD, VSD and aortic or pulmonary valve diseases. These are the conditions where we get plethoric lung fields. Now third important sign in this are the pedicles. Now who forms the pedicle of the heart? It is mainly because of superior vena cava on the right side, on the left side it is the aorta. Now if we are finding superior vena cava pressure is low, or if less blood is going into the aorta, we call this as the narrow pedicle. Now what happens in Epstein? Epstein, there is cardiomegaly, there is decreased pulmonary vascular flow, then box type of heart and enlarged heart of the right side, right atrium, and hypoplasia of the pulmonary trunk. These are the main features of Epstein. Now this diagram explains you how hemodynamics is seen in VSD. Now this is IVC, blood is coming into right atrium, from right atrium it is coming into right ventricle, from right ventricle instead of going into the pulmonary arteries it is flowing into the left ventricular side, because there is, now this is in similar, this is atrial septal defect. So these two diagrams tell you how a atrial septal defects and a ventricular septal defect causes certain changes in hemodynamics. Now if we see this X-ray, what we find is the right ventricular dominance, cardiomegaly. Now cardiomegaly, when it occurs, is another thing to be considered. Cardiac size during the diastole contributes towards cardiomegaly. Now if the cardiomegaly is there, that means heart has got diastolic overload. Now here what we are finding is there is a enlarged main pulmonary artery, then hypoplastic aorta. Hypoplastic aorta means aorta is receiving blood less. Second is the pulmonary arterial hypertrophy, or it is enlarged, that means pulmonary artery is receiving more blood. Now third, if you see, there is right ventricular dominance. Now after all these things, what we come to the changes are because of the ASD and severe pulmonary hypertension. The main pulmonary artery, hilar pulmonary arteries are also large with peripheral vascular distribution. Now what happens in patent ductus? Patent ductus is essentially required when the blood flow in fetus is set. That is when the pulmonary circulation is bypassed, when there are no lungs, the blood has from the right side has to go to left side, and the only way before birth for it is to have a shunt. That is because of the crossing from right side to left side, bypassing the lungs. So from pulmonary artery it enters into the aorta. Now what are the chest X-ray features is? In chest X-ray the heart is large and there are pulmonary plethoric changes. Now this shows you how a hemodynamic is set in when there is patent ductus arteriosus. The blood comes from the pulmonary artery into the aorta. Usually it closes 1 hour after the birth. Now this is the pulmonary arterial stenosis. Now what happens? It is common form of pulmonary stenosis is isolated pulmonary valve stenosis. That is its fusion. Now there may be infundibular stenosis or there may be right ventricular hypertrophy. Now causing increase in contractility. Now rarely there is distal pulmonary stenosis involving the main pulmonary artery and its branches. That is after the pulmonary valve there can be a stenosis. This is the hemodynamics of pulmonary stenosis. Now this is the X-ray which shows massively enlarged main pulmonary arteries by the radio-opaque metallic sutures. Then what we are seeing here are the pulmonary valve stenosis, and the main pulmonary artery and left pulmonary artery are considerably enlarged, but pulmonary vascularity is otherwise normal. Now coarctation. Coarctation is a narrow segment here. This narrow segment blocks the blood going from aorta, ascending aorta, arch of aorta into the descending aorta. So here what happens is ultimately the pressure is transmitted over the aorta and left ventricle. So similarly, changes what we find is pre-ductal form is more common, characteristic by the diffuse hypoplasia of narrowed segment, and there can be a constriction. Constriction or narrowing of these can be seen just before the origin. Now what we are seeing here is a chest radiograph of infant with coarctation of aorta. There is cardiomegaly and evidence of left heart failure. That is because of the overload. There is early CCL. Now how the blood goes to the distal portion of aorta is because of is indicated by this rib notching. This is localized view of the ribs showing notching in adult patient presenting with coarctation. Now tetralogy of Fallot. As I was telling you, in cyanotic heart diseases there can be either plethora, which we have seen just now, or there can be oligamic field. If there is oligamic field, tetralogy of Fallot is top on the list. Now tetralogy of Fallot is the most common cyanotic congenital heart disease. It has been classically characterized by, or it is characterized by a combination of ventricular septal defect, right ventricular overflow obstruction, then overriding of aorta and right ventricular hypertrophy. Now this is a chest radiograph of an infant of tetralogy of Fallot. It reveals trachea is indented by the right side aortic arch, the cardiac apex is angulated upwards, and the lung fields are oligamic. They are boot shaped. Now these are the cases of congenital aortic stenosis. Now leaflets of the aortic valve remain partially fused to a more complex form of dysplastic valve like bicuspid or tricuspid. Then there are also various forms of subaortic stenosis ranging from simple diaphragm to a complex tubular narrowing of the obstructive fibrous tissues in the left ventricular outflow. This is a common form of transposition. As you can appreciate from the images, this is hemodynamics, how it takes. The right side, right ventricle, pulmonary arteries, then it is the left ventricle and aorta. These are the infants with transposition of great arteries. The pedicle is narrow and there is cardiomegaly and pulmonary plethora. Now here we are finding hypoplastic aorta, enlarged main pulmonary artery, RV, cardiac configuration, all is suggestive of intracardiac shunt, probably ASD. Now the presence of VSD and pulmonary atresia will markedly affect the outcome and presentation of these conditions of pulmonary atresia. Now in pulmonary atresia with VSD, this is the name as a form of it is a severe form of tetralogy of Fallot. Here the right ventricle can empty into the aorta since there is obstruction to the outflow of the right ventricle with the usual override of the aorta. Now flow thus continues through the right ventricle resulting into the chamber enlargement, then hypertrophied wall. Since it has systemic pressure in it, the pulmonary arteries are also very small and receives blood supply from PDA, that is patent ductus arteriosus initially, and then subsequently through the aortopulmonary collateral circulations. Now this is a chest radiograph of adult with long-term palliation of the pulmonary atresia. Now here what is happening is there is a right-sided aortic arch, okay, aortic arch and upturned cardiac apex. The cardiac apex has gone up. The vascularity in the right lung is more prominent due to presence of right-sided shunt. Now what happens in tricuspid atresia? In this condition there is an absent tricuspid orifice or fused leaflets or valves or a mass causing mechanical obstruction. The systemic flow is directly from right atrium into it via ASD and then into the right ventricle. Therefore, left ventricle receives blood from pulmonary circulation through the ASD, causing a hypertrophy. Some of the blood in the left ventricle crosses through the VSD to reach the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery, while the remainder passes into the normal way through the aortic valves. The chest X-ray appearance. Chest X-ray commonly shows a pulmonary oligemia, a small pulmonary vein, a moderately large heart with a rounded counter due to downward and leftwards enlargement of the left ventricle. Now this is the picture. The chest X-ray shows a slightly enlarged heart, often with a slightly upturned apex due to right ventricular enlargement. The pulmonary bay is small and the lung fields are oligemic. There is a right aortic arch in about 25% of the cases. Now, mitral valve abnormalities. There is a normal heart size with increased pulmonary vessel size due to pulmonary venous hypertension. There is often pulmonary edema. Now, total anomalous pulmonary venous drainage. This condition, one or the more pulmonary veins drain into the right atrium or into the superior or inferior vena cava, sometimes often below the diaphragm. This vein can be identified on plain X-rays. You can see in this is shown. You can see this with the arrow. Now on plain X-ray we can identify curved vessel in the right lower zone, causing its widening as it approaches the right cardiophrenic angle. This is called as scimitar scan. The scimitar is like a Schaeffer's user, Schaeffer's stroke. The condition is frequently associated with hypoplastic right lung. Now this is a way in which anomalous pulmonary venous connections can be there. Now what we are seeing here, total anomalous pulmonary venous. The cardiac type draining the coronary sinus. See the chest radiograph of a child with TAPVC of the cardiac type draining into the coronary sinuses. This is marked cardiomegaly and pulmonary plethora, but the upper mediastinum is not wide because the drainage is directly into the heart. Now this is Epstein abnormality. It is anomaly of the tricuspid wall. There is a large right atrium and small right ventricle. There is displacement of the tricuspid wall towards the apex, and the chest X-ray shows massive globular cardiomegaly with pulmonary oligemia. Now there is cardiomegaly. There is a large thymus and oligemic lung fields. This is usually fitting with non-valvular disease, neither with the classification we have done. So we diagnose this as the congenital myopathies. Now this is showing fullness of cardiac shadow, prominent upper zone vessels. In this there is cardiomegaly, pulmonary arterial hypertension consistent with VSD. Now there is cardiomegaly, there is increased pulmonary arterial markings, dilated innominate veins, dilated SVC, producing snowman's appearance. This is total anomalous pulmonary venous drainage. Now you can see here the apex is on right side. So this is a case of dextrocardia. So different cases which we had done before. Now this is the case of transposition of gate vessels. Look, narrowing of the superior mediastinum, a large cardiac shadow, then abnormal convexity of the right atrium, then increased vascular markings, that is Egon Sting sign, or suggestion of transposition of gate vessels. A thin arrow mediastinal fat. So this is a cardiomegaly, mild, no signs of cardiac failure. This is normal cardiac size and configuration is normal, the widening of the pedicle and oligemic lung fields. Now these are plethoric lung fields, atrioventricular septal defect. Look at the pulmonary artery, there is pulmonary hypertension, bulging main pulmonary artery, right ventricular hypertrophy, all consistent with intracardiac shunt. Now there is cardiomegaly, homogeneous ground glass lungs. Now this is the case of transposition of gate vessels, no narrowing of the superior mediastinum. This is a cyanotic child. Now there is cardiomegaly, there is pulmonary plethora, then ASD, VSD, patent rectus arteriosus. If the child is non-cyanotic, if the child is not cyanotic, if the child is cyanotic, then the differential will be different. With this, we are coming to our today's session. Today we have seen how to read congenital heart diseases. In that, basically we have done two things. We have divided them into the cyanotic heart disease and acyanotic heart disease. Acyanotic heart disease we have further divided as per the lung vasculature, whether lung has got plethora, whether there is enlargement pulmonary artery, or there is wide right ventricular hypertrophy. Then if it is cyanotic heart disease, then again we have divided them into the whether there is oligemic lung fields or plethoric lung field. If they oligemic, then it is fellow, hypoplastic right heart and Epstein, and if it is plethoric, then it is TAPVD and truncus arteriosus. Then plethoric with the plethoric lung fields without cyanosis are usually ASD, VSD and aortic or pulmonary valve diseases. Now I thank you for giving me your valuable time. Please note, radiology is not a race, it's a process. Be a part of this process and enjoy the feast. I always say it is not a lecture, but it is studying these cases together. I am Dr. Anil Joshi, logging off till we meet again. Take care, goodbye and do your best to diagnose your patients.